Alright boys and girls, I hope you're having a lovely day. Okay, today boys, I want to talk about the best and the worst Silent Hill games. Okay, of course, we've got the new Silent Hill 2 remake coming very soon. I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I'm very, I don't know, skeptical. I feel like I might not like it. I feel like it won't live up to the absolutely amazing game that is Silent Hill 2, the original, of course. But of course, we'll have to wait and see with that one. Okay, I've pre-ordered it, so I'm hoping it's going to be good. But yeah, like I said, I'm a bit cautious with it. In terms of today's video, guys, I've not got every single Silent Hill game. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 Silent Hill games to talk about. I haven't got Book of Memories because honestly that game looks absolutely terrible. It doesn't even look like a Silent Hill game, and I would have bought it just to, you know, just to see if it's good or not, but it's like ridiculously expensive.
Oh, I don't want it.
I also don't have Silent Hill Origins. It is a game that I would like to own. I would like to try it and see if it's any good. I've not heard the best things about it. It's got a bit of a lukewarm reputation, but it is a game I still want to check out, but unfortunately I just didn't have time to play that one. In terms of the ones we do have though, guys, there's obviously some really good games here. There's some that I don't really like all that much, and we'll get into it. I've also got a few controversial opinions on certain ones, so yeah, stick around, boys. You might not like my opinions on all of these games, but I don't know, hopefully we can agree to disagree and have a conversation in the comments about the Silent Hill series. Okay then, boys, I guess the best place to start with this is going to be, of course, the original, which is Silent Hill for the PS1. So when it comes to Silent Hill 1, guys, I feel like it's best to give you guys my story on how I actually acquired the game. So I saw this game at the Retro Gaming Market in London. It's a place where there's just tons of video games, and I go there every year, and I saw it at a stall. I just bought some stuff from the guy, and he had a really long queue, and I saw it there for £50, and I was like, oh, I'll just get it later on or something, you know? I didn't want to get back in the queue. It was super busy. There was swarms of people, and I just couldn't be bothered. And I also figured I might see it again, like at a different stall. But unfortunately, guys, he was the only person I saw that was selling this game, and when I came back to him later, he said that he sold it. So I missed out on an opportunity to get this game for 50 quid, which at the time was a really good price, because this game is a lot more money now. Sadly, guys, I had to buy this game at CEX, and I paid £70 for this. It is cheaper as a platinum than getting the black label one. I'm not too bothered about platinums. I know not everybody likes the platinum version, but honestly, it didn't really bother me, and £70 is actually not a terrible price for this, because I think it's a bit more expensive now. Regardless though, guys, it's not a cheap game. Okay, Silent Hill 1 is very expensive, but honestly, I think it's worth it. This game is absolutely fantastic. For a PlayStation 1 game, guys, I think this game has aged remarkably well. I played this game last year, and I was blown away by just so many aspects of this game. Yes, not every aspect of this game has aged like a fine wine. You know, like the way that Harry Mason runs in this game is kind of just funny. I suppose some of the visuals could look better, but at the same time, I really like the PS1 horror aesthetic. There's nothing quite like it. I really like the way this game looks, and I feel like a lot of gaming developers nowadays try to emulate the way that this game is, because I've seen a lot of like modern day takes of horror games that sort of go for that PS1 aesthetic, and it works remarkably well for horror. I was still shitting myself playing this game, guys, even now. Okay, there's something about that atmosphere in this game that's just so horrifying. The scares in this game are so well crafted, and it's just such an unsettling game. Like there's that one bit when you're in the school and there's that locker that's filled with blood. That's an absolutely horrifying visual. You've got those weird creepy babies that I absolutely hated, and I'll start chewing at your ankles. I did not like them. That got under my skin. The intro to this game is terrifying. You're running through the fog, and then all of a sudden there's like a dead, I think it's like a dead dog or something. It just is all mutilated, and then there's this weird sort of crucifix looking thing. It's really creepy, guys, honestly. This game is really scary.
What have I got myself into? Oh, I'm fucking shitting myself.
I'm a big scaredy cat when it comes to the Silent Hill series, guys, okay? I can deal with jump scares, alright? I can take an Outlast or Alien Isolation. They scare me, but I can play them. Silent Hill just gets under my skin. I don't know what it is about it, but it really does unsettle me. Like, if you take the FMV cutscenes in this game, there's just something about them that really bothers me and just really gets under my skin. Like the moment where Lisa starts leaking blood from her face and then obviously dies. Like, that shit is just so creepy to me. I think you could genuinely make the case that Silent Hill 1 is the scariest in the series, okay? There's so many moments in this game that creeps the ever-living hell out of me, and yeah, it's just a really horrible game to play, guys, I won't lie. It was a hard one for me to get through. In terms of the gameplay here, guys, I won't lie and say it's the most amazing gameplay you've ever played in your life. It's serviceable, it's okay, but it's nothing ridiculous. You know, the weapons are functional, the guns are functional. It's a you know, okay game to play in terms of combat. The puzzles though, guys, are fantastic. I loved the puzzles in Silent Hill 1. They're arguably some of my favorite in the series. There's that piano puzzle that I just was really into, and in fact I've actually got my notes for me doing that puzzle. I've kept them because I thought, you know, something I could look back on one day. I don't think that's very clear, but you guys can see, you know, me working out the piano puzzle, and I did work it out with the notes. So yeah, I really like some of the puzzles in this game. They're really good. The soundtrack in this game is 10 out of 10. Okay, I think my favorite has got to be that song that plays when you first meet Sybil. It's just such an eerie song. It really, I don't know, you just know you're in an unnatural place when you hear it. The story here, guys, is absolutely fantastic. Obviously it focuses on the cult side of Silent Hill, so you've got weird characters like Dahlia Gillespie, who's just a creepy person, let's be real here. And yeah, the story's really good. You're playing as Harry Mason, looking for his daughter and getting wrapped up in all of that cult stuff. Really good stuff here. Overall, guys, I don't think I've got anything bad to say about Silent Hill 1. I think this game is one of the best PS1 games ever made. It's my favorite horror game on PS1, and I think it's aged really well in a lot of ways. There's something about this game that you can't replicate in today's, you know, gaming. Like, you just couldn't recreate this game and recreate the magic that it was. So I would thoroughly recommend it. It's an expensive game, but seriously, if you can emulate it or something, thoroughly recommend this one. Okay then, boys, next up we have got Silent Hill 2 for the PS2.
I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
Alright guys, let's just get this out of the way. I genuinely think this is one of the greatest games ever made. I think it's probably my second favourite game of all time. The only game I think I maybe prefer slightly more is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is an absolutely amazing game, but that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, when it comes to this game, I think it's my second favourite of all time, because I just think about it so often. Honestly, there's barely a day that goes by I don't think about this game and my experience with it.
Oh God, I feel terrible. I feel terrible that I'm living in your head rent-free.
This was my first ever Silent Hill game I played. I was way too scared to play this game as a kid. I remember my brother playing through Silent Hill 4 The Room, and I remember looking at that and being way too creeped out and just leaving the room. So this was my first ever Silent Hill, and when I bought the game, I was too scared to play it, honestly. I'm a big wimp when it comes to the Silent Hill series. I'm not sure what it is. I just really do not like them. They just get under my skin so much. So I bought this game fully anticipating me jumping into it, and I was like, oh, I'll play it another day. And that kept going on for probably over a year, guys. But what ended up making me play this game, guys, is I pre-ordered Sifu. I pre-ordered, like, the physical copy of it. I don't like to buy my games digitally. I like to own all my games physically. So I pre-ordered the physical, and it just didn't arrive. And I was kind of, you know, I was expecting me to play that game that day. And because it didn't arrive, I didn't know what to play. And I just saw Silent Hill 2 on the shelf, and I was like, alright, we're not gonna be a wimp today. I'm gonna play it. And I start playing it, guys, and obviously I'm shitting my pants, okay? I'm walking through those creepy, foggy woods, and I'm hearing all these crackling sounds, and I'm not liking what I'm hearing. And then you've got that FMV cutscene with Angela, and it's just, I don't know, it's just such an uncanny, you know, dialogue. Like, they just don't, I don't know, they just sound so weird when they talk to each other, so that was getting under my skin. And then, of course, you go through the apartment blocks, and I was shitting my pants in the apartment blocks. I did not like it. It was too dark, it was too creepy, there was too many monsters, and I had to turn the game off. I saved it, and I said, you know what, we'll come back to this game tomorrow. And honestly, I thought the next day it'd be fine, you know, I've experienced the worst of it now, I know what to expect, so it's not gonna scare me, right? Yeah, wrong. I was still fucking shitting my pants. Alright, you see that pyramid head just staring at you, and then you come back and he's gone. Didn't like that, and it just kept going, guys. This game would always scare me. When I thought the scariness was done, I would still be scared, and I played through the whole game terrified. There are people that think that Silent Hill 2 is maybe not as scary as some of the other games in the series, and I kind of understand that to a point, but I don't fully agree with it. I honestly found this game so fucking scary, okay? And maybe it was because it was my first ever Silent Hill game that I played, but honestly, it was such a terrifying experience all the way through. And there's just something about the atmosphere of this game, it just really draws you in to Silent Hill. You feel like you're there in person and you can't escape. I love the way this game is. And the soundtrack here, guys, is arguably the greatest soundtrack of all time. It's a soundtrack that I listen to constantly. I've got the CD soundtrack over by my CD player, and I play it every now and again. I listen to it while I edit, and it's just such an amazing soundtrack. Laura Plays the Piano is one of the best songs ever composed in a video game. game. And then you've got those really intense songs like in the prison, and you just feel like you're on edge the whole time. When it comes to the combat, guys, honestly, again, similar to Silent Hill 1, it's not going to blow you away, okay? The combat is fine, it's serviceable, but it's nothing amazing. The puzzles here, I would say, are a bit weaker than Silent Hill 1's. I did prefer the puzzles in the first Silent Hill game, but they're still pretty good. Sometimes they can be weird, though, like there's some puzzles that I just don't really quite understand why that's the case. Like, for example, the orange juice down the trash chute. Like, who would ever think to put the orange juice down there? Like, you would only do that just by guessing. You wouldn't naturally think, oh yeah, orange juice, put that in the trash. So some of the puzzles here are just weird. The enemy designs in this game are my favorite in the entire series because they're just so symbolic of what James's nightmare is all about, okay? They always got something about them that is personal to James, like the straitjacket people, for example. Obviously, that reminds James of his experience with Mary. Obviously, being in that hospital was very traumatic for James. And then, of course, you've got the sexy nurses that, again, it sort of reminds James of his lust when he was in that hospital. And obviously, he feels a lot of guilt about that because obviously Mary was out there suffering whilst he was feeling lustful towards these nurses. So I really like how personal these enemy designs were to James specifically, and that's pretty much the case with all of the enemies in this game. The Pyramid Head is the same, it represents James's want to be punished, and the enemies aren't just personal to James, there's enemies that are personal to the other characters in the game, like the abstract daddy to Angela. I won't get into that because that's a major spoiler, but yeah, there's a lot of amazing enemy designs here that again are personal to the characters specifically. And of course, guys, when it comes to Silent Hill 2, it's all about the story here. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to spoil it for people that are waiting for that remake, but just know it's probably the greatest story ever told in a video game. The story here is literally perfection. All the characters here are so mysterious. Some of them are really haunting. Maria in particular just freaked the crap out of me. I remember seeing her in that prison cell and she's staring directly at me. Ooh, gives me the heebie-jeebies.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
So yeah, on the whole, guys, Silent Hill 2, it's an absolute masterpiece of a game. Like I said, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and that is why I'm scared about the remake, because I really don't feel like you can do better than what they did here. So I just hope it's good. I know it's not going to be better than the original, but if it can be decent, I'll be happy. Okay then, boys and girls, let's talk next about Silent Hill 3.
I still feel like I'm dreaming.
More like a nightmare, I'd say.
So first of all, guys, I want to start off with this game in the visual department. This is the best looking game of the Silent Hill series, in my opinion, and I think it's probably the best looking PS2 game ever made. I was blown away by the visuals in this game. The facial animations in this game are absolutely mind-blowing, okay? I cannot believe this is a PS2 game. It looks like a PS3 game at times. It is a marvel to just look at this game. When it comes to the story here, guys, this actually follows on from Silent Hill 1, so this game is more to do with the cult again. Some people like that, some people dislike it. Me personally, I did enjoy the story, but of course I did prefer the way that Silent Hill 2 was. I like the cult, I find it interesting, but yeah, Silent Hill 2, I just like the personal aspect of the story. There are aspects of that in Silent Hill 3 still, it does retain some of that, but it is more to do with the cult. What I do really like about the story in particular though, guys, is Heather herself, okay? I think she's probably the best main protagonist in all the Silent Hill games. I really like her character in Silent Hill 3. She's just got such an amazing personality. Heather is super sassy in this game. She's got a bit of that teenage attitude, and I just like that some of the things she would come out and say. I don't know, I found her character really interesting.
Leonard? Is that you?
Death to all who turn their backs on God.
Is every person here a mental case?
I also really liked her character design in this game. It's just a really memorable design. Her outfit, the way she looks, the way her hair is, and just the way she's designed is really memorable to me. When it comes to gameplay here, guys, it's pretty similar to Silent Hill 1 and 2. You know, lots of combat, lots of puzzles, that sort of thing. But there's definitely more emphasis on the combat in this game. There's a few more encounters in this game. There seems to be a few more boss battles as well. I will say I like the fact that there was a lot more weapons in this game. Like, you've got the SMG and the katana, and there's just tons of unlockable weapons in this game as well that are super interesting.
force is strong in this one.
And it gave it that replayability as well. I've only ever played this game once, but I do look forward to coming back to it and try and unlock some of that stuff. The soundtrack here is really good, guys. It's nowhere near as good as Silent Hill 2, but you know, you can't compete with that. Silent Hill 2 soundtrack is just too perfect, but there's still some absolutely fantastic songs here. My favorite has got to be End of Small Sanctuary. I know it's you know, an obvious pick, but it's just such a brilliant song. It's actually got a surprising amount of happiness in the song. It doesn't quite feel as daunting as the other music in the rest of the series. However, guys, what is daunting is actually playing Silent Hill 3, okay? Because Silent Hill 3 is arguably the most scary of all the games. This game really did amp up the horror here. It wasn't my scariest experience. Silent Hill 2, like I said, it was my first Silent Hill game, and that just really shit me up. But Silent Hill 3 was fucking scary, let me tell you. The game kicks off in this abandoned amusement park. It's just creepy. There's a weird bunny sat on the bench. I don't like that. I do not like that. Pretty much the entire subway section of this game was creepy to me, but in particular, there's that moment where you're on the train tracks and you go for that door, and then all of a sudden it's locked, and then two dogs come out of nowhere and the train's trying to run you over. And that was certainly a moment that caused some anxiety. There's another moment in the game when you're in a bathroom and you knock on the stool, and then you walk away, it knocks back, and you're like, oh, okay, that's weird. And then you go back and there's just blood all over the toilet. So yeah, just, you know, shat myself a bit. I think my favorite scare in the entire game, though, guys, has to be the mirror room. You go in this room and the door's locked, you can't escape, and all that's in there is a mirror, and as time goes on, the entire room just starts to get more and more infected, and then all of a sudden you start losing health, but you can't open the door after that. But it's just, I don't know, it's a really intense moment. So yeah, overall, boys and girls, Silent Hill 3 is probably my second favorite in the entire series. I absolutely love this game. It's scary as hell. I really like the story here. Is it as good as Silent Hill 2 story? No, obviously not, but I still really like it. Has a great soundtrack, it has great characters, and overall it's just a fantastic game. So yeah, definitely the second best in the series. Okay then, boys and girls, next up, let's talk about Silent Hill 4: The Room. Okay guys, so far, like with this episode, none of my opinions have been all that controversial. I really love the original trilogy of Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3. I think they're all absolutely fantastic games, and I fully recommend them. Silent Hill 4 is where I get a little bit controversial, because I know a lot of people love this game, and I'm not one of them, unfortunately. This is actually my older brother's copy of this game. He lent this to me because he's got all the Silent Hill games, so I actually borrowed a few of them off him. I borrowed some of the PS3 ones as well. And obviously the Silent Hill series is very expensive, so I was very grateful that he would lend them to me. But yeah, when it comes to Silent Hill 4, guys, I was super pumped, super excited to play this game, couldn't wait, and I was a bit disappointed with it, like, when it comes to certain things. So what I will say about Silent Hill 4, guys, is that everything that is not playing the game, I love, alright? The horror aspect of Silent Hill 4 is incredible, but actually sitting down and playing Silent Hill 4, I didn't enjoy it.
What did he say? What the fuck? What the fuck? Shit!
The horror in this game is absolutely fantastic, okay? The room itself is proper creepy, okay? You can't escape, there's chains all over the door, super mysterious, and then there's all of a sudden there's a weird hole in the bathroom that you go through that takes you into a different place. It's all super creepy, okay? I love the room aspect, and it's all in first person as well. I thought all of that was genius. There's also some absolutely fantastic scares in this game, like the big Eileen head, which I didn't actually get that far in the game, but I've seen it on YouTube, and it's really creepy. There's also a moment in the game where you can peek through this hole into Eileen's room, and if you keep doing it, keep being a pervert, and all of a sudden the bunny's head turns towards you, yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scares in the entire series. Like, that shit is super, super creepy. And when it comes to the enemy designs in this game, they're all incredibly well designed and super duper creepy. Not my favorite in the whole entire series, but still really creepy stuff here. But yeah, that's not my issue with Silent Hill 4, guys. Like I said, my problem with Silent Hill 4 is actually sitting down and playing the game, okay? This game has got a bit more focus on combat, so they've made some adjustments that just made the game slightly irritating to me. Like, a lot of weapons in this game have a durability, so like you'll use them and eventually they become unusable because you've broken them. Just didn't like that. I don't feel like it was needed. It just adds extra stress to the gameplay that's already pretty stressful with all the monsters everywhere, so I wasn't a fan of that. On top of that, you can't discard them as far as I'm aware. You had to take them to your item box to get rid of them. Just annoying. Like, why can't I just discard them there and then? Because you have inventory slots. You could basically actually have like a capacity. There's only a certain amount of things you can carry at a time. So it just adds extra annoyment to the gameplay. There's tons of really annoying enemies in this game as well. Like there's these annoying ghosts that are unkillable. You can only really stun them, and you have to hit them a ton of times to just stun them, but they stalk you and you can't kill them, and they're just annoying. You've also got these annoying enemies that seem to come out of walls. Like you'll be on an escalator and they'll come out of the wall and hit you, and you go flying down the escalator, you lose a bunch of health, and you have to get up and go back up the escalator only to get hit down again. And apparently, guys, the enemies get even more annoying than that. I didn't get super far into the game, so I'm not sure of it myself, but my older brother was telling me how annoying Walter Sullivan is in this game. He'll stalk you apparently, and he doesn't leave you alone, and he's just super frustrating. And apparently you've got to be escorting Eileen around, and apparently that's super annoying. So I didn't even get to some of the more annoying aspects of the gameplay. So yeah, everything I've mentioned so far, guys, it's not that bad. Like, yeah, they're annoying, yes, they're grievances, but it wasn't a deal breaker for me. What did it for me though, guys, like the part of the game where I just gave up with it, was the water prison. I was so confused in the water prison to a point where I just do not like the game now. Like, I hated the water prison. I just didn't know where to go. I was completely fucking lost. In the water prison, guys, there's a bunch of these rooms, right? And in these rooms, there's like a bunch of holes that you're supposed to drop down into, and that shit just confused the ever-living hell out of me. I just didn't know ever what holes I was supposed to jump into, alright? So I was really confused. But honestly, guys, I don't mind looking up a walkthrough, okay? I haven't got that kind of ego where I've got to figure it out myself. If I get stuck on a game, I'll look up a walkthrough, no biggie, alright? I don't have that kind of pride, alright? So I look up the walkthrough, and I was equally more confused. I was even more confused, if nothing else. I just didn't understand, because I would do the same things the walkthrough was doing, and I would be in different places, alright? And I was trying to figure out exactly which holes to jump down into and what to do in this water prison, and the entire time I was just so confused, guys. And that's what did it for me. I just got so fed up with this bloody water prison that I said, you know what? I don't even want to play the game anymore.
All right, I gotta leave, okay?
John, we just started. Come on, man.
Listen, there's a lot to see in this life. Not wasting it here.
I'm sure I could have persevered through it and got through this water prison, but it's the fact that this game gets even more annoying. Like, I'm not even at the most annoying aspects of the game, and I was like, I had to like sit and think to myself, am I actually enjoying this game? And yes, aspects of this game I really enjoy, but the overall experience was not a pleasant one. So in the end, I was like, you know what? I think I'm done with Silent Hill 4. I just don't really like it all that much. And I know that's going to upset some people because, again, this game has a massive cult following. There's some people that will put this right at the top of their Silent Hill list. But for me, I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy playing it. So at the end of the day, I just didn't want to waste my time with it anymore. Okay then, boys. Next up, let's talk about Silent Hill Homecoming for the PS3.
Find me, and everything changes.
Okay, boys and girls, so I know I wasn't a big fan of Silent Hill 4, but compared to this one, yeah, this game is Shakespeare. This game is a masterpiece compared to Silent Hill Homecoming. Okay, Silent Hill Homecoming is bad, alright? It's just straight up bad. Obviously, these first four Silent Hill games are all made by Team Silent, so they're all very good. I mean, even Silent Hill 4 that I'm not a big fan of, I can't deny I can't say it's a bad game. You know, it's still decently made, okay? And the first three, of course, are all fantastic. This game is not made by Team Silent. This is made by... who is it made by? Double Helix Games. I don't know who they are, but they just did not understand what Silent Hill was all about, okay? They just didn't get it. So first things first, guys, okay, the visuals in this game. Now, it's not the worst looking game I've ever played, but this game looks worse than Silent Hill 3. This game looks worse than Silent Hill 4. I'd say it looks worse than Silent Hill 2. How is this game that's on the PS3 looking worse than the games that came before it? That makes no sense, okay? It's on superior hardware, and it looks significantly worse. The combat in this game, guys, is absolutely dreadful. I don't know why Silent Hill, just as the games went on, tried to overcomplicate the combat. That was never the reason we like Silent Hill, okay? We're not buying these games for the combat, for the fun of the game. We're buying these games for the horror and the atmosphere and the story. And it's really strange because as the Silent Hill games go on, and the more focus that is put on the combat, the worse the actual combat gets, okay? The combat in this game is the worst in the whole series, and yet it's the focus. And it it feels terrible to play. The enemies feel horrible to actually hit. There's no impact on any of the weapons. It's really clunky and janky, and I just didn't enjoy the actual combat here. It's honestly terrible. There's so many more combat encounters in this game than in any other Silent Hill game, and that's never a good thing when the combat is this bad. The gameplay here as well, guys, is incredibly linear. Now, I'm not the type of person that needs every game to be open-ended. I'm quite okay with linear experiences, but with Silent Hill, like, part of the fun and part of the adventure is the exploration. So when you make the game super linear, it kind of defeats what Silent Hill was all about. And this game never really gives you any breathing room to explore. It always feels like you're on rails the whole time. You just never really get that chance to look around like you do in the previous titles. I didn't play through the entire game, guys, but from what I did play of it, the story was incredibly uninteresting. I didn't care for a single character in this game. I just completely did not care about any of the story here. It was just a Wish version of Silent Hill 2. It just tried to be what Silent Hill 2 was all about, but it just lacked any of the intrigue, any of the mystery, and any of the amazingly well-crafted nature of that story. It just had none of it.
You're boring everybody! Quit boring everyone!
Honestly, guys, I think the worst crime that Homecoming commits is with its enemies, okay? Because there's certain enemies in this game that just shouldn't be here, and it's just straight up insulting to Silent Hill 2, okay? Like, why is Pyramid Head in Silent Hill Homecoming? That is an enemy that is designed specifically for James and his nightmare. So what is it doing in Silent Hill Homecoming? It makes absolutely no sense why Pyramid Head would be in this game, other than the fact that Konami just sat there and was like, oh yeah, Pyramid Head is popular, so that's gonna make more money, so put Pyramid Head in the game. That just is not the point of Pyramid Head, okay? It just is so stupid. You've also got the sexy nurses. What are they doing in this game? Now, the nurses in general are, you know, they're part of Silent Hill, but specifically the sexy nurses are a part of Silent Hill 2, because again, that is what James was experiencing in his nightmare. He felt guilt for lusting over the nurses when Mary was dying, so why are they in Silent Hill Homecoming? So stupid. Again, it just reeks of Konami incompetence, okay? The entire game is just a Konami fuck-up, alright? I do not like this game. I find it incredibly bad to play. It's not good. I don't recommend it to anyone. There are some people that don't hate this game, but I'm unfortunately not one of them, guys. Did not like Silent Hill Homecoming. I think it's really, really bad. Okay, boys and girls, next up, let's talk about Silent Hill Downpour for the PS3.
Murder's a mortal sin. You go to hell for murder.
Okay, guys, so when it comes to Silent Hill Downpour, there is a bit of a cult following with this game. There's definitely some people that really like it. Unfortunately, I'm again not one of those people. I did not like Downpour. It's better than Homecoming, but that's not saying much. I could go and sit on the toilet, take a shit, and that would be better than Homecoming. So that doesn't take much. It is better, but I still don't enjoy it. So yeah, when it comes to the good stuff of Silent Hill Downpour, guys, definitely the highlight here is the story. It's not on the level of Silent Hill 2, for example, but I do find the story pretty intriguing from what I played of it. I didn't finish it because, well, we'll get on to why I didn't finish it, but yeah, I played a good amount of it, and I did enjoy the story for what was there. And the game kicks off and you're in a prison ward, and you end up killing this big, fat, blobby, ugly dude, and you're wondering why you did it. Like, he doesn't feel good doing it. You're stabbing the shit out of him, and he's completely defenseless, running away. He doesn't try to fight you at all. You feel horrible doing it, and I just wanted to know why we did it. I felt like there had to be a good reason for it, so I wanted to stick around and find out exactly why we killed this guy. So the introduction to the game is fantastic. Yeah, as the game goes on, you meet this weird mailman that's really mysterious, and I wanted to know more about him, and just the whole game and the whole story was very intriguing and interesting. Murphy was an interesting main protagonist, okay? That is definitely the best aspects of this game. He had an interesting past, and I wanted to find out what was going on there, okay? I wanted to dig into that more. Unfortunately, though, guys, when it comes to the positives, in my opinion, that's kind of where it ends, okay? I don't really like any other aspect of Downpour. Actually playing Downpour was pretty shit, okay? The gameplay, once again, is absolutely terrible. I feel like it might even be slightly worse than Homecoming, and I don't know how that's possible, but the combat just feels so terrible. I don't know what was going on. The game has a different approach to weapons this time around as well, so instead of you just having weapons in your inventory, you just pick them up as and when. So if you see, I don't know, a hammer, you can just pick it up and use it, or if you see a rake or something, you can use that, and, you know, you can drop it at any time. So the way that weapons are in this game is just weird, and it puts you off from exploring, because obviously in the previous Silent Hill games, I would look around trying to hunt those awesome weapons. You know, when I found the katana in Silent Hill 3, I was super pumped to use it. There's none of that in Silent Hill Downpour, because again, you just pick up weapons as and when. It just kills the vibe of looking for weapons. Not that any of the weapons feel good to use anyway, so it wouldn't matter even if it did have an inventory system. The enemy designs in this game are absolutely abysmal. They've got to be the worst in the entire series. So uninspired. There's nothing to any of these monsters. Going from Silent Hill 2 to Silent Hill Downpour is a crime on what they did with the enemy designs here. They're so boring, so bland, lack any sort of intrigue at all. Just terrible. But honestly, guys, I think like the worst thing about Silent Hill Downpour is just the fact that it just lacks any attempt of horror. This is the most unscary Silent Hill game I've played. There is zero horror in this game. Going from Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, and 4 to this, it's like, where's the scares? Where's the horror? Even Silent Hill Homecoming attempted a little bit of horror. It's not scary, okay? Silent Hill Homecoming is not scary at all, but there's at least an attempt at a little bit of horror. Downpour is just not a horror game in my eyes. I can't think of a single moment where I was even a little bit scared. And again, bear in mind, guys, I'm a big scaredy cat. It doesn't take a lot to scare me, alright? But this game lacks any horror at all. I played this game at night with the lights off, alright? I don't do that with horror games, much less Silent Hill games. But that's just how unscary this game is. There was no horror in it at all. So yeah, on the whole, guys, Silent Hill Downpour is not a game I massively liked. There's definitely a decent story here, and I think I'm going to watch a playthrough at the rest of the game just to find out what happens at the end of the story, because I was definitely intrigued. But yeah, just when it comes to the gameplay, the enemies, and things like that, just wasn't a fan of it, unfortunately. Alright then, boys and girls, let's end this episode by talking about our final game, okay, and that's going to be Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the PSP.
Who are you?
I'm Dahlia.
Okay guys, so let's first of all talk about the fact that I've got the PSP version of this game. You can get this game on PS2, but it's crazy expensive. But I think the main way you should be playing this game is the Nintendo Wii. I think that's how it was designed. But in my opinion, the PSP version was solid, okay? This game plays pretty well on PSP. It pretty made more sense to play it on the Wii when it comes to the puzzles and stuff. It definitely felt like more of a Wii title, but it played very well on the PSP. The graphics are really good on here. It's one of the better looking PSP games I've played. And yeah, it's overall a good experience on the PSP, so I would recommend it on there. But yeah, when it comes to the actual game of Silent Hill Shattered Memories, guys, I didn't think this game was going to be very good. You know, I was kind of hoping it would be, but I wasn't like, I didn't have like crazy high expectations for it, because as far as I was aware, all of the games after Team Silent was done weren't all that good. I don't think any of them got really good reviews. But honestly, guys, Shattered Memories is a really good game. This is easily, in my opinion, the best game that isn't made by Team Silent. I really enjoyed Shattered Memories. Is it a perfect game? No. Okay, there's definitely some things about this game that I don't love, but there's also some things about this game that are fantastic, okay? So let's go through them. So first thing first, guys, this game is completely different to any of the Silent Hill games, okay? The gameplay here is a complete departure from the rest of the series, okay? First of all, no combat, okay? There's no combat in this game. Instead, we've got these nightmare sections where you have to run away from I don't know, the monsters, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, guys, the gameplay here isn't great, like, when it comes to that. These nightmare sections are the worst part of the game by a mile. They were really annoying to traverse, okay? I kept getting lost all the time. They would always grab me, and it was just annoying, okay? All the nightmare sections were just frustrating. They weren't scary, just annoying. As well, guys, similar to Downpour, this game doesn't really make much of an attempt to be a horror game. There's not really a lot in this game that's scary. There's a bit of an eerie atmosphere at times, but nothing truly horrifying, not like Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill 3. So when it comes to the criticisms of the game, guys, that's pretty much where we're at, okay? It's not much of a horror game, and the gameplay when it comes to the nightmare sections isn't very good. But I like the puzzles here. The puzzles aren't super complicated, but they were fun. I enjoyed most of the puzzles here. They made the brain tingle a little bit.
Sometimes my genius it's almost frightening.
But honestly, guys, it's the mystery of uncovering the story. That's the highlight of this game, okay? This game is kind of a reimagining of the original Silent Hill, okay? It's got the same characters, but they're different. They're all completely different. The story here has aspects of Silent Hill 1, but again, they're completely different and completely changed. And just just uncovering the story and what it was about and the mystery, that is the highlight of this game. I won't go into exactly what the story was all about because I don't want to sort of spoil that for you guys, because again, that is the highlight of the game, but it's easily the best thing here, okay? The story here is fantastic. And this game also has these sections where you visit this therapist and you have to give answers to these questions, and as you answer the questions, it changes aspects of the game. It's quite similar to how Until Dawn was. If you guys have played that game, you have a therapist there and you'll say like what's scary to you, and in the game you'll see those types of scares. This game has a similar aspect, and I honestly thought that was super ahead of its time. Obviously Until Dawn came much later than Shattered Memory, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just borrowed stuff from this game.
He copied my whole fucking flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
Yeah, on the whole, guys, that's pretty much everything there is to talk about with Shattered Memories. I was pleasantly surprised by this game, okay? The story and uncovering that mystery was so good, okay? I really enjoyed the story here, and again, it's definitely the best aspect of the game. The puzzles here are pretty good as well. Yes, there isn't a lot of horror in it, and yes, the nightmare sections absolutely suck. I would have preferred just traditional Silent Hill combat, but that aside, guys, really good game, and I thoroughly recommend it. I was surprised big time with this. Okay, guys, so that is every Silent Hill game that I have played. Like I said, not played Book of Memories, not played Origins, and as far as I'm aware, that's it. There might be some other Silent Hill games, but yeah, on the whole, guys, I enjoyed most of these games, but there definitely are some bad ones, alright? Homecoming, I want to, it's not my copy of it, I want to just launch it because it's so bad. This is my brother's. Thankfully, I didn't pay for this game because it's not the cheapest game considering how bad it is. But anyway, boys and girls, let me know in the comments, do you agree or disagree with my opinions on these Silent Hill games? I know some of you guys are definitely going to disagree with my opinions on Downpour and Silent Hill 4, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. Other than that, though, boys, subscribe here if you're new, and I'll see you guys next one, alright? Peace.